Hello everyone and welcome back to another vlog where I am showing you me building up all of my different online income streams. So I haven't been on the tube for a while because I went away for about a week, just under a week. I don't have any kind of backlog of videos that are ready to put on in my absence, so we've just had to have no videos for a while. Hopefully I will get ahead of myself at some point and I'll have some set aside ready to put on if I have a particularly busy week or I am away again. So this is the Sunday after I've got back. I am basically trying to catch up on some business stuff. Mainly dispatch from my eBay and Etsy shops. I kind of want to get that sorted so that all the work related to this past week where I've been away is done and dusted, so I can start afresh tomorrow on a new week, which I will also vlog as well. So what I've done so far this morning is I've packaged up and labelled and got sorted all of the things that I sold on my eBay shop over the course of the last week. I had it on holiday mode for I think about 3 days, just like the first few days of being away, because I actually have quite a long dispatch time on my items of 5 working days. So it could come off holiday mode earlier basically, and then anything that's sold towards the end of the holiday, I can just dispatch as normal and it would still be on time. So that has all been taken care of, and there were quite a few things that sold even while it was in holiday mode as well. I've got 10 packages, but within those 10 packages were multiple purchases, so I think one person's got like 4 or 5 items in their parcel and somebody else has got 2, I think. So quite a few things have sold, and it hasn't been a strong week, probably because of the holiday mode for a few days, but it's been a decent week. It's been an okay week, and certainly nothing that I'm particularly kind of concerned about. So that's all sorted. What I'm doing at the moment is I also had an Etsy order while I was away, and that's on my reselling Etsy shop. I have a lot of Etsy shops. You'll kind of get used to this. At some point I need to make a video about exactly what I've got going on, but that is not going to be today. However, I have sold a necklace on my Etsy shop, and I've been able to start using these little fabric envelopes and bags and things that my mum is making for the shop. So the joyful thing, the brilliant thing, the completely lovely heartwarming thing about this particular reselling business is that it's me and my mum running it together. Well, I say running it together, I mean like we're doing it together. Her sort of part of it is to provide these little fabric bags, and also she's been making, I mean she makes these every year and she pops little presents and things in these, like these Christmas boots and Christmas stockings. So she loves making bags and patchwork. Those are her sort of favourite things, and a bit of quilting and stuff. And then I spotted a couple of these last time I was at her house. So these are more like stocking shaped, aren't they? And then this one's like a slightly slimmer one. I mean, she draws all the templates and stuff herself, but my favourite one is, because I've got like one of these that's actually mine, is I like the big old boot because you can fit more in it. Anyway, I think my mum's brilliant. She used to make all my clothes when I was little as well. When I was little, sounded really Essex then, didn't I, when I was little? Anyway, she's doing that, so the little bags and things to pop the jewellery in. And then I mean, she's not particularly convinced because she's tried selling things on Etsy before and not really got kind of very far with it. So she's convinced that her stuff is terrible, that it's only good enough to give to friends and family. And I'm just like, no, mum, no. We had this argument at the time when she opened her own Etsy shop. I was just like, mum, how many things have you got listed? And she's just like, I've got 3 bags on there, I think it was. I've got 3 something on there. And I was like, no, mum, you need to fill your shop up. You need to put a lot of things in there because, you know, that's how it works. But because we're just having a chat at the moment. I was telling you about my mum. My mum's lovely. My mum and my stepdad used to live in France, and they ran a French antiques / vintage eBay shop while they were over there, because they could source things from like brocantes from French markets and things really easily, and they used to sell things worldwide. Loads and loads of vintage French lampshades and light shades went to Japan and all the rest of it, and they used to put everything would go on auction. And so that meant that most of the time everything that they put on there sold. And so here's my theory with my mum's sort of confidence, is because she had run a business where pretty much everything sold because it was on auction, she thinks that because the things that she's listed on her Etsy shop, this was a few years ago now as well, like maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago, something like that, she's got it into her head that her stuff isn't good enough because it's not selling the way the French antiques did. And so I'm trying to talk to her about, you know, you need more listings, it's an entirely different business, it's a handmade business rather than vintage, and it's not on auction, and all that. You can imagine, just, you know, when someone's confidence takes a knock, it's just ridiculous. Anyway, it was not ridiculous, but I just, like, the things that she thinks I know are ridiculous. But she doesn't, so I've got to convince her. Anyway, she is over the moon excited about this business. And the last time I saw her, we went out for lunch and I showed her how I'd updated the shop, and I'd put like her name in it and a little picture of the two of us together. We need an up-to-date one actually, because the photo that I've used on the shop is from a trip to London that we went on just before the pandemic. So what's that? Oh god. So measure my life by that particular event. So probably about 3 years ago. It's 3 years old. Oh look, what's this? It's coming out in hives. Oh god. I haven't, you know, it's just me on a Sunday morning. This is what it all looks like. But yeah, so she was just excited to see the picture and that she's in there. And then also I'm going to surprise her with, there is a bit in the Etsy shop where you can talk about each of they'll do like a little profile of the people that work in the shop. So I'm going to be doing a lovely little profile of my mum in my shop, as well as one for me. She's also, again, because she has bought vintage things for sale as well, she's really keen to pick up some of the not so much the jewellery, because she's never sold that before and doesn't really know that much about it, but she's really keen to get involved in the sort of picking up vintage bits and pieces, because they still go to antiques markets and fairs and things like that. So yeah, so she'll probably be contributing on that side of things as well. It's just such a completely different business from the eBay reselling, because, you know, I'm sharing it with someone, and it's with someone who's just taking such great delight in being part of it. You know, she's a very level-headed woman, or has obviously run her own business for a number of years, so she's, you know, going to be good for advice. And she's already telling me off about the state of some of my photos that are on there. I kind of sat there in the pub over my, whatever it was I had, sandwich and chips I think it was, with my mum picking holes in my photography. And I was just like, okay, that's fine. This is going to be so much fun. But it will be good. It will be good. It is good. It's already really lovely. But yeah, so this is the first piece of jewellery that's going to go off in one of these bags. And we're sort of testing out different sizes, and also like sort of different, no, format isn't the right word, is it? But just different styles of bags. We've got like little drawstring ones. Yeah, like slightly smaller ones. And then like I think these small envelopes, I haven't got any rings listed at the moment, I don't think, but I think something like that would be good for a ring. The great thing is it cuts down on plastic, and then also people can just like, could keep this in their jewellery box. I mean, I think I probably would if I had a piece of jewellery, pop it in a little fabric envelope. Anyway, that's very exciting. So that's going in. I still haven't got to the point where I wanted to make like little thank you cards of some sort to pop in there. Yeah, I need to get on that and get that done. So, but at the moment, I'm still getting a lovely little fabric bag, which I hope that the recipient, will be pleased with. And yeah, I'll just pop a little thank you sticker, which I have got, onto the envelope, and that's kind of it with the packaging and the dispatch at the moment. I might fancy it up a bit at some point, but I think, you know, for the price that people are paying for some of the stuff in the shop, to get a free handmade fabric bag, I think is a pretty good deal. That was an awful lot. I'm looking at this and this is now saying 11 minutes. I think this is going to be a chatty one. It's because I've been away and I've got lots to say again. But yeah, so that's that one done now. I just need to label it. When I've done that, I'm kind of caught up on all of the dispatch. I've also done a little bit of admin, so let me just grab my mug of tea, because I need it to think really yeah, so what else do I need to do today? You tell me, because I'm not sure I even know. Get the label on that. Everything needs to be dropped at the post box, although I might just leave that until tomorrow because it's not going to go anywhere until tomorrow. Oh, I did a little bit of admin. So I had a load of auctions finish on eBay, and I've now like relisted them as buy it now items. I need to do a massive tidy up in this room. It's horrific. It's really bad. Everything has got really untidy and disorganized again, and it's becoming difficult to work in. So I think I need to schedule some time in the week to do a thorough tidy up and kind of reorganize it, because actually as I'm selling through, so not stock, but as I'm selling through a lot of the junk in here that's actually for my sort of decluttering project, that I'm calling it I love calling things projects. It's one thing you'll learn about me if you haven't known me for the last 4 years. Is I do like a project, and I do like to call things a project. As things are selling for the decluttering, it's freeing up a little bit of space that I can then move the next things into. So what I'd really like to do is get a much clearer floor space in here, get the desk kind of cleared, and it could, you know, it could do with a really good scrub as well, a really good clean, because it kind of gets dusty and grubby, and especially when I've got sort of like mugs of pens and bits and pieces out on it. The whole thing needs kind of cleaning, everything needs tidying. I need to get a hoover in here, because the new rug that we bought to go in here, because the wheels of this little rolly chair were pulling up bits of the floorboards. So it was really bad at one point. So we've got a really big rug in here, but because it's new, it's building up lots of kind of fluff and stuff on top of it. So it needs a really good hoover. We need to get on and do that. But I think that's probably all the work that I need to do today. So we will reconvene. I will see you Monday morning Monday is my reselling day, so it'll be some more reselling. So I'm not done yet. It's just going to be a chatty one, folks. I put on my community tab thingamajig a poll to see, out of the sort of video ideas and things that I've got, what ones people would like to see. And well, the two that came out on top was a breakdown of my eBay earnings for this year, because it's been a tumultuous year of reselling, let's put it that way. And I could quite possibly be making any other reseller that watches that video feel a hell of a lot better about their own business. So there's that. And then the other one was like a really detailed breakdown of my plans for Amazon KDP for next year. So those two I will definitely do. And then my other ones that were on there were a vlog and also a vintage haul. And I think what I'll do is I'll combine those two together. I've got that down there. So Monday morning, we'll get all our reselling work done, and I'll show you my little vintage haul, because that will fit in with the theme of Monday really well and kind of cover it off, because I wasn't entirely sure about doing a separate haul video anyway. I don't necessarily want to get back into doing those, because that's what I used to do on this channel, but I think it will fit as part of the work that I do on Monday, mainly because I'll be cleaning up stuff and photographing things, and also some of it's for me, some of it will not be going up for sale because it's pour moi. I'm very excited by some of the things I found. So we'll have that. Quite frankly, I don't even know what I'm going to do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We will wait and see. So that being said, I'll see you tomorrow morning. I thought I'd kick off Monday by showing you the absolute state of my desk. At some point I'll show you the state of the whole room, but for now, just like check out how bad this is. It's just piles and piles of mess. I mean, I need to clear some of this and then I will start work. Yeah, so welcome to Monday morning. I'm just getting the computer started. I'm kind of looking at what you can see, and yeah, you can see the mess in the room from where we are, from where you are. I'm oh god, I don't even know where to start. I feel like there's so much to do and so much to say, and I can't even remember what I whittered on about yesterday. But I do have a bit of a plan for the day, and then at some point today I want to make a plan for the rest of the week. The plan for today is, those of you that have been here for a while, welcome back. You will know that Monday is my sort of biggest reselling day, and then on a Thursday I say a half day. Sometimes it's just an hour or 2 hours tops. Other times it is like a proper sort of 3.5, 4 hour half day. Anyway, so Monday, so full day of reselling. However, as you know from the first clip that you saw, I did a whole load of dispatch yesterday. So I have just got, I think, 3 or 4 things to dispatch this morning that were either sold yesterday or paid for yesterday. And that's on eBay. And then I've also had a couple of Etsy sales, which I'm really, really pleased. Like, honestly, I'm so chuffed with the fact that I'm making sales on Etsy and I've only got 30 something listings. I just, you know, the thought of making sales on eBay with 30 something listings just seems impossible. I mean, it happens on my personal account, but I think they treat personal account listings slightly differently. Anyway, I'm chuffed, but they are, so one of them is a small flat thing that will go into an envelope quite easily. The other thing is a small parcel sized item. I need, what do I need? I need to go and find some tissue paper. So my plan is to do all of my eBay dispatch, because that's just incredibly basic packaging and just goes into an envelope. I've also got a load of packages to drop off from yesterday plus today's, so we're going to do that. And then while I'm out dropping off those parcels, I'm going to try and source some tissue paper from somewhere nearby. The other thing that I want to get as well, which has nothing to do with business, is I want to get a plain white duvet cover, because what I've discovered, a great way of staying warm at night, is to have 2 winter duvets on the bed. So just like the regular one all the way up to the top, how you would normally use a duvet, and then the other one folded in half at the foot of the bed, so it sort of comes up to maybe just above the knees, and the warmth of that on your kind of feet and lower legs, like me and my other half, we've slept like logs. It's kind of like, it keeps you really warm but not over warm, and you've got like a freedom of movement. You haven't got something that's like really stuffy and sort of too heavy on you. The thing is that we only have, I mean, this is, you know, insight into my life that you don't really need, but we've only got 2 like duvet cover sets that obviously we just like, while one's on, the other one's being washed, and then they just rotate round. But what we need is just like a 3rd plain one to go on this extra duvet that's at the bottom of the bed, and I don't want to spend a lot of money on it. What else was I going to say about it? Oh yeah, I'm just going to go for white, because the other 2 duvet covers are both a pattern on white. One of them is a Cath Kidston circus flower duvet cover. It's a really old pattern of hers I absolutely loved. It's got slightly, I'd say, kind of a slight mid-century feel to it, I would say, and I'm quite fussy about that because 1960s style is my least favourite, but there are certain elements that I like and kind of almost like want to pluck out and use, but then ignore the whole of the rest of the 60s because I think it's all ugly and disgusting, which is going to upset a lot of you because I know that loads of people love 1960s style, but forgive me, I do not. So there's that circus flower design. You can look it up. I think it's called circus flower. And then the other one is an Orla Kylie stem cover. It's all very mainstream. There's nothing kind of designer or exciting or anything in there. So it's a white background, and then it's like a sort of, well, actually it's this kind of colour, maybe a little bit brighter, like a sort of turquoise blue, duck egg blue, and it's really, really just simple and fresh looking. So I have those 2, and then I think just a plain white will go really well with that. Anyway, I've spent ages talking about a duvet cover. I've got all the chats. I've got all the chats this week. I'm gonna have to split this vlog into several videos, I think. So if you're looking for something to work to over the next week, then this is the channel for you, because I'm chatting away here. Right, okay, so I'm just sorting out, I'm just gonna get logged on to eBay. Right, so the plan then is that, so eBay, go and get duvet cover, tissue paper, any other little bits I can think of that I need while I'm out, come back, sort out the Etsy dispatch of those 2 items, have some lunch, and then in the afternoon I will be trying to do some reselling listing, but I have pretty much run out of stuff, I think. I've got the Christmas stockings that I think I showed you yesterday. I've got those to list. I've got a few things that I've picked up, so we'll do a little haul of those things. A few things there to photograph and list. And then I will go through everything I've got and just check that everything is listed. So it's going to be a bit of a odds and sods day afternoon of listing, I think. Just, yeah, just sorting out, and any little bits of admin and things I will do as well. Now I have won an auction lot that I still haven't paid for. I need to pay for that today, and that will probably be delivered in time for Thursday, so it could be I do a bit of listing on Thursday as well. And then I've got my eye on some other auction lots that are finishing this week. If I get those, they will take care of next week's listing quota. I'm still trying to get the eBay numbers up to about 500, but I can't get there yet. It's just not happening. It will it will happen gradually, but at the moment I feel like I'm going backwards rather than forwards with my listing numbers. I have this feeling that in order to get what I want out of my reselling, that it needs to be about 500 on eBay, and considering it, like Etsy's doing quite well, I think a couple of hundred on there might just be enough. But yeah, we'll see. Anyway, right, and let me get on with this, and yeah, I'll get back to you in a minute. Okay, so the desk is still a mess because I haven't actually, you know, done anything about that yet, but I thought I would show you something else, give you a little bit of an insight into how I run my eBay business. So I have 12 of these boxes, each one, look, pretty grubby, but each one has a really crappy label on at the moment with the month of the year. So what I do is everything I list in December goes into the December box, and December is the SKU that I put, so it's like a unique identifier for each of the items, and it means that when something sells I know which box to go and look for it in. So everything that I list in December goes in here. It has December as the SKU, and whenever something sells and it says December on it, I come to this box to look for it. And then the other thing that I do is, as I get to each month, the idea is that you open the box and there's absolutely nothing in it, because that would be perfect. And so the box sort of starts off full, and then over the course of the year, the idea is that everything in it sells, but everything never sells. So I get to December and I'm about to start filling this box again with the things that I list this month, and then what I do is I have a look at what's left in there that hasn't sold basically in 12 months. So it's had 12 months on eBay. It has probably been in a sale at various points. It's probably had some price adjustments, but still the items haven't sold. So I take a look at it and decide what to do. Sometimes if there's a really special item in there, then I will just leave it and do a sell similar on it, just to sort of refresh the listing. And that tends to be things like really, really good quality, lovely chunky sterling silver, or something that's very special, might be unusual, and it's just looking for the right buyer. So some things do get an extra chance. Oh, the other thing that I do as well is clean the box out, because over the course of the year you just end up with like little bits in there that have come off the jewelry themselves. I also take a look at the stuff so that I can evaluate, you know, is there a kind of a reason why it hasn't sold? I take a look at the photos that I've taken, perhaps, you know, they were a problem. So what I've got here is, so the only thing that I can't understand why it hasn't sold is this item here. I find that 1980s, 1990s, you know, this is really lovely gold plated flat, I think it's some sort of herringbone like woven necklace. These usually sell pretty well. Now I have got quite a high price on it, but that is because it is particularly thick, particularly intricate, and is also in fantastic condition. So that one I am surprised hasn't gone. These ones not so much. These sort of silver earrings with the dyed mother of pearl in them, they were very much the thing in the early 2000s. They pop off occasionally. They aren't great sellers though. These two, so this is a gilt and celluloid brooch, and then this is a little pewter brooch. Pewter normally sells quite well for me, but for some reason this one hasn't. I think the design of the hat is his old hat, funnily enough, and I don't think that's particularly popular. They're both very small as well. Now I think I only had them up for $5 each, but I think what I might do with those is pop them into a vintage brooch bundle or something along those lines. These and this. And I mean, the gold tone earrings normally sell, so I'm not quite sure what it was about those. And then rhinestone usually sells, but this is, I think this is the only piece I've got that is that kind of amber coloured glass. Doesn't seem to be as popular as the clear, as the blue, as the pink,
sort of various other colours that I've had, but it is a nice piece. So what I'm thinking I might do is, now I've got the Etsy shop, is bundle those two. They can go back on eBay in a bundle or something. I might pop these 4 on Etsy and give them a little go over there. I think early 2000s on Etsy now counts as vintage. So yeah, so that's going to be last chance saloon for those. I'll pop them onto Etsy, keep an eye on them, and if they haven't sold in about 6 to 8 months over there, then I'll pull them again, and again they might go into a bundle, or they might go on auction. Oh yeah, that's the other thing that I sometimes do as well. But I know that these two have recently been through an auction, and I think probably at about £1.99, £2.99, something like that, and they still haven't sold, so they'll be bundled. They'll go on Etsy.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is that nothing should be sitting in my shop for longer than a year. Let me just straighten you a bit. For longer than a year, unless I have this really strong belief that it's a unique special piece that just needs to find the right owner. That can sometimes happen with like very, very expensive pieces as well. Like very occasionally I have found in bundles of items that I've bought some really just delicious things. I found a Schiaparelli bracelet once, and that, even though it wasn't in great condition, it was over £100 for it, and it sat there for a good long while before it got snapped up by someone. So yeah, sometimes I make decisions based on the rarity, sometimes the price, the uniqueness, and so on. But yeah, that's just a little insight into what I do. The other reason why I do it as well is that I've noticed over the last year in particular, things are mostly selling from my most recent 3 boxes, so the most recent 3 months. And then to an extent it will kind of go back to the previous sort of 6 months. Beyond that, things that have been listed for longer than 6 months only seem to sell very occasionally. It's almost like those listings sort of drop off eBay's priority list. Now, I did either watch or hear something that said, it was something from an eBay employee, that actually does happen after 9 months. eBay then consider it an old listing. And I mean, I do sell similar, but do you know what I think? I just have a little theory here that even when you do sell similar, I think eBay knows that it's an old listing. I don't know how, but I think there might be something in their algorithm or something at the back end that means that they know, because there is no doubt that my properly fresh listings do a lot better than old ones that I've just done sell similar on. I don't know. Just a little theory. I think most eBay resellers have got their own little conspiracy theories about eBay, but yeah, so that has kind of also influenced the way that I do things as well. Right, eBay dispatch is done now. So I'm going to gather myself together, go and try and get this tissue paper, this duvet cover, and any other little bits that I can think of. I'll make a little list and be on my way, and then we'll come back and we'll settle down and we'll see about tidying the desk, and also just reviewing. Oh, I can do my little haul as well of vintage bits. Yeah, just basically we're going to sort ourselves out when I get back. So yeah, I'll go and do that now. Right, so we are on our way to the range. And there's something else that we're going to do there that I suddenly thought, oh yes, that would be good timing, because I got my first, but this is going to get noisy because there's going to be cars going past, hold on. Right, where were we? So I got my first coffee bought for me. I say coffee, it's actually tea, bought for me via my Buy Me a Coffee link that's in the description under these videos. And then I got a second one as well. I got 2 within about a week, and I was just so like overwhelmed and excited by it. The thing, or things that I'm going to spend the money on, is some nice tea bags and some bulbs for my garden. I was so blown away by the fact that people had done that, the 2 people had chosen to do that, because I hadn't even advertised the link at all. I need to sort out one of those little animated thingies. Sorry, it's raining a bit. This is why I'm hidden under a hood. I need to sort out well, let me just take it off actually. So I think the rain's pretty much stopped. Sort out some sort of thing, that graphic that comes in and tells people that it's available. But yeah, I wasn't advertising it because I hadn't got comfortable with the idea of it, which is crazy because
it's a thing that people do on their YouTube channels, and it's absolutely fine. And I have used it for other people before myself, because what I've found is that there have been, I'm just going to stop and talk here for a second, make sure there's no one around who thinks I'm a complete lunatic. I've done it myself for people because there's probably about 4 or 5 creators that I'd really like to join their Patreon, but I can't afford like an ongoing payment. But I've wanted to, I don't know, with some of them I've wanted to say thank you, and then for maybe a couple of them I've wanted to contribute to the thing that they're saving the money up for. So I know it's completely fine to do it, but when it's you, I think it just gives you like, I don't know, like pause for thought. And also because I'm talking about my income dropping, I didn't want it to feel, I don't know, you probably know what I'm trying to say without me saying it. I can't quite articulate it, but I've been really, really clear actually on the Buy Me a Coffee page that it's not like regular income. So the first goal that I had on there was £10, and that was for bulbs for the garden and the allotment. And that's because originally I'd set it up for my personal homestead channel, which is all about sort of gardening and stuff. And then I thought, well, actually, let's just have it on both channels and combine them together. And I really want the money from that to feed in specifically to the channel. And so what I've got on there now as my new goal is this vlogging kit that a company called Rode do. And it's kind of got everything that I need to attach to this phone. So instead of me holding this up with my arm and being very wobbly, it comes with, you know, like a tripod, gimbal. And also a light that just will attach to the top of the tripod. So that when I'm trying to vlog and it's quite dark at the moment in the winter, I can have that on. It's a microphone as well. Just all the bits that I need, really. I mean, that's why it's called a vlogging kit. Anyways, I think I found it for about, it's either like 120, 130 pounds or something. And I thought, yeah, I'll put that as my next goal because that will help me out with both channels. And then people can know specifically what I'm trying to get, if that makes sense. So they know they're investing in my channel. They're not just paying my bills for me, because that's my responsibility. 100% my responsibility. Right, we are almost at the range now. So basically the range will be good because they might have some bulbs left in there that I can grab with my money. So I've got just under £10 to spend, because obviously the Buy Me a Coffee people take their cut for sort of using their platform. So we'll say I've got £9, and I'll see if I can get definitely some bulbs, possibly the tea, duvet cover, tissue paper, and maybe some thank you stickers. But anyway, I'm just going to go and have a look and see what I can find. Okay, so that was pretty disastrous. I couldn't really find what I wanted in there. Found a few bits that were almost what I wanted in terms of tissue paper and something else. I can't even remember now. So I ended up with not very much. Got round to the till section and saw the queue and thought, no, I'm not queuing up to buy things that I don't even like that much. Well, my friends of Sparrows End, I've finally made it back into we'll call it an office. I mean, yeah, we'll say the office. And yeah, it's been a fairly not very typical Monday, an atypical Monday, in that it's now 2:30 and I haven't even finished all of my dispatch yet. My trip out
ended up being, I don't know, twice as long as I thought it was going to be because I couldn't find the things that I wanted. In the end, I think I possibly showed you, I ended up in Dunelm Mill, found loads of Dormer duvet covers that I liked, but they're all about 80 quid. They're all far too expensive when I just wanted just a basic like cotton or polycotton plain white duvet. Did find one in Dunelm. So I got that. It was about, I think it's about £13, £13.50 I think. £13 is probably about $15, and it is just a white polycotton duvet cover, which is fine. And couldn't find any thank you stickers anywhere. Fair enough, I'm just going to get my own printed, I think, or there'll be loads on Etsy that I can get, so I might sit and order those this afternoon as well. Went to Asda to pick up some salad bits for my lunch. Thought to myself, I'm so annoyed by the fact that I can't just get some plain white tissue paper really, or maybe some green or cream or something like that, like the colours of the Etsy shop. Ended up in Asda for the food and thought I'll just check their birthday section, because, you know, surely like white tissue paper, I'm thinking like weddings, christenings, that type of thing. Yeah, found, well, I chucked a load of stuff in my basket because I just thought I'm running out of time, I need to pick some things up, and ended up with all of these. So I've got it's white with gold spots, a couple of plain white, and then there's these metallic ones. There's two different shades of gold. One's like more of an antique gold and the other one's more of a gold. And then there's a copper coloured one. And I thought, well, they will definitely do for now. They've got the FSC rating on them in terms of where the paper has been sourced from, which is good. But I've noticed that this one is even better. Slightly more expensive, but it's recyclable tissue paper. So I think what I will probably end up doing is I'll use up everything that I've bought, but I will probably just switch to this recyclable one because I would prefer to use something that's as environmentally friendly as possible. Also, the Jiffy bags that I use, the padded envelopes that I use for eBay and for Etsy, are recyclable and I think compostable, or one part of them is. So I'm kind of doing my best to pick things that are environmentally friendly but that aren't going to have an enormous impact on my profit margin, because, you know, profit margins at the moment can be quite slim at the best of times without me cutting into them because of the packaging that I'm choosing. Right, so we've got to 4 o'clock and the lighting in here is just terrible for recording. I've got kind of overhead light and lamps on and things just to try and be able to record. I mean, I definitely need to get some sort of, I don't know, like box light or ring light or something, and I might have to sort of invest in that before the buy me a coffee thing like builds up or takes off or any of that. Just because this is going to be impossible otherwise, isn't it? So I haven't changed what I'm wearing. I have been wearing 2 jumpers. I've become a 2 jumper person because it's suddenly turned cold in the UK. So I've been wearing like a thin jumper and then a thick jumper. And what I did was, as I was tidying my desk, I found this gorgeous Tiffany necklace just over on the side because I've been meaning to, first of all, clean it. Second of all, decide whether I want to keep it or not. So it looks better with either like a higher neck or like a V-neck. So it's either, this whole section here either needs to be on bare skin or the whole thing needs to be like under a slightly higher neck jumper, so the whole thing's got jumper behind it. This half and half thing doesn't look right, but anyway, so it's a beautiful necklace. I do love it. The reason why I'm thinking of selling it is it basically gets tangled up really easily because you've got these 3 separate strands, and where I was cleaning it I had to detangle it just after cleaning it. I mean, it's ridiculous. I can't find a way of storing it where it doesn't end up a big knotty mess. The thing is, now I've got it on, I love that slightly like a tumble down kind of way the letters, the initials are hanging. So I really love it. So I think I'm going to keep it for now. Also, I realised that I have just waffled on so much today that I think this just today is going to be a whole vlog by itself. But yeah. The desk is looking a little bit tidier, but what I've come back on to do to finish up with today before, I mean, I've got about an hour left to do some work. I can see that going. I can see that going on this next thing. But I got a little vintage haul. Some of it's for me, some of it's to go in the vintage Etsy shop. But I thought I would show it to you. It feels like a bit of a throwback to my OG audience, my OG viewers will know this, a bit of a throwback to how my channel started in the first place, which was about 4 years ago now. And it was a solely reselling channel, pretty much, I would say, for like most of the time that I had it running. I used to do weekly haul videos of stuff that I was going to sell on eBay. The problem I found with it is that I didn't want eBay to be my only thing that I did, and I also got really bored of doing it every week. Oh, and then the third problem that I got was I ended up kind of getting too far ahead of myself, and I just ended up with boxes and boxes full of stock that I just never got round to listing, or couldn't list quickly enough to keep up with how much I needed to show to make a half-hour video. So it all just got really messy and silly and stupid and annoying. So I stopped doing it. But I figure, whilst I'm not going to do separate haul videos, I don't think, I thought I could incorporate it into the vlogs sometimes, particularly when I'm vlogging on a Monday or a Thursday when I'm doing some reselling stuff anyway. That to me makes a little bit of sense. And it might not always be that much either. It might just be a few bits here and there. Welcome back to a reselling haul. Although, to be honest, she says picking up the first thing. It's not necessarily going to be reselling. So I spotted this in a charity shop. So this is, I think this has all come from charity shops. I tend not to source from them very much anymore because I like to buy in bulk, in quantity, maybe once a month or twice a month, and get as much as I need for that month rather than constantly toing and froing to the charity shops. Again, it was another thing that was getting repetitive and I was getting really bored of it. But if I do it occasionally, I love it again. So here we are. So I spotted this and I knew that it wasn't old, but it was also Art Nouveau in style, which I absolutely love. I could also tell it was really good quality. So it was finished off beautifully across the top here, but also not finished off in a way that Art Nouveau glass is finished off. And I found this in the pottery section of a charity shop because it is very deceptive if you don't know your glass. But I kind of zoomed in on it and I thought, that's glass. It's heavy, the finish is really good, and I thought it was really good quality. I think I paid £4 for it. I did a little search on eBay and Etsy and I found the range that it's from is actually Caithness glass, which is a decent glass maker, very good glass maker. And this particular vase, I mean, it's selling, I'd say you're looking at sort of anything from 10 to 20, maybe 25. I need to compare the size of this one to the size of the ones that's on the ones that are on eBay just to check. But £4 investment. This is, so it's this is gonna be really hard to show you the true colours of things. Let me turn some of these lights off, they're a bit yellow. let's come back down to that one. So Art Nouveau in style, and I think the range itself is possibly called Art Nouveau or something. I don't know, I can't remember now what I looked up, but I absolutely love it. This is going to be personal collection. It will go, because it's neutral, it will go in any room that I put it in, and yeah, absolutely chuffed to bits with that. Right, so this next item is going to be a Christmas present. So this is a lovely Gone Fishing mug with some really nice gold metallic trim on it. Really like it, very sort of vintage style illustrations. And I picked it up and I didn't really like look at it because I just thought that'll do for my dad for Christmas and I can put bits and pieces in it. It was only 99p, and then when I peeled the bottom off I realised that it was St Michael. So it's a pretty vintage Marks and Spencer's mug, which I'm even more happy about because it's a good quality, nice mug to have. I could probably sell that. I mean, I could sell it for more than 99p, I reckon. Vintage St Michael, I might get, I don't know, 5 to 10 quid for that if I sold it, but I'm not going to, because this is another one that's personal, that's going to go to my dad. Right, we've now got some things that I'm so desperate to keep. But I think probably should go in the shop. So the Etsy shop is vintage jewellery, but it's also kind of vintage, like little dressing table bits, trinkets, knickknacks, possibly a little bit of haberdashery, you know, like vintage buttons and things like that. I saw this, which I think they're called ginger jars. I don't really know very much about such things, but this has got a robin on it, and I love my garden birds, and it's got holly, and it's Christmassy, and it's in fantastic condition. It's got its lid, there's no chipping, and it cost me £1. I could, look, oh. I could not love this more. Oh yeah, this is another one that I'm going to find a little bit tricky to get rid of, I think. I might manage this more easily than the robin. And again, it's very Christmassy, so if I am going to sell it, I do really need to do it now. But equally, it would make a lovely thing in my sort of Christmas decorations. I'm trying to get away from, you know what I was talking about earlier about that sort of mass-produced poor quality stuff. I'm trying to get away from that in my Christmas decorations as well. Just trying to build up a collection of either vintage, secondhand, better quality, like long-lasting things. So things made of ceramic and glass and wood and stuff like that. So this is also beautiful. So it's bone china, but it's not like a brand or a, oh god, what would you call it? What are they? Oh, I just call it ceramic designer because my brain's just died to death. This is absolutely gorgeous. I can just see this on my coffee table quite happily. I do love this, but I think because it's not an animal, there is a chance that this might end up in the shop, possibly. Right, another glass item that I found that I got really excited about. Well, let me show it to you. So it's controlled bubble glass. What's that called? Conte, I think. And the quality is phenomenal. That is a very smooth bottom. I can't remember what that's called. Black glass. It's just the weight of it, the quality of it. I paid £6, which is it's kind of quite steep, but if someone told me this was Murano, I wouldn't be surprised, because again, the quality of it is exceptional. It's so lovely. It's probably worth, again, that sort of £10 to £20 sort of range. So it was a decent buy because it's for me and not for reselling. I don't mind paying £6 for it, but I just absolutely love it. Not doing very well. There's even more stuff in here that I know is for me. So these are 50p each, and these are vintage tea towels. I'll show them to you and explain to you what I'm going to do with them. But we have these gorgeous, I mean, this is probably my favourite one. These harvest mice. And what I'm going to do on all of them is add a crochet border across the top and the bottom. I went to a little workshop once years ago, and that was the thing that the instructor was teaching us. She'd got a load of vintage tea towels, and we learnt how to, so you do like a blanket stitch across the top, and then that gives you what you need to then like lock in your trimming. And I have got a booklet somewhere that came free with a magazine that's just got loads of crochet edging designs on it. So crochet edging, and then they're just going to look so vintage, so beautiful, so gorgeous. But, oh, this is another favourite one. There's no place like home. I mean, literally, that would be my ideal kitchen, including all the broken plaster that's on there. I like things to be a little bit ramshackle, not that keen on perfection, I have to say. So, another good one with recipes on. Vegetables and fruits, absolutely love that. It's probably all coming up backwards because it's on my phone. And all of these, they're selling between like £4 to £12 each, so I mean they're definitely a good buy with the 50p purchase. And then there is this one. Oh, hold on, we're upside down. Now this one I was thinking, I mean I love it, I really do love it, but out of the 4 of them it's probably my least favourite. So what I thought I might do is test the water on, so I'll do my crochet edging on it and then pop it on Etsy. So, you know, one of these is probably going to end up in the shop, and just see whether people like that kind of thing, because I love it, I love the look of that, but I don't know how much other people do, or how much people would be prepared to pay for my workmanship on it in terms of like doing the crochet and stuff, because I mean I'm a bit rusty with doing that because I haven't done any crochet edging for a while, but it's probably going to be at least a couple of hours work, I would think, because I'm like approaching it fresh. It's not something I'm in the habit of doing regularly, so it's a couple of hours work. I don't know, it'd be interesting to know how much you think I could charge for something like that, because that you know, that could be a nice little thing to add into the shop as well, something that's got the handmade element in it. Right, now this doesn't have a huge amount of age to it. It's from Woolworths, who I think they went out of business in, it would have been around credit crunch time, wouldn't it? So maybe 2008. I mean, stick it in the comments if you want, I can look it up. So I would imagine that this is, so it's just like a mantelpiece. I think it's a snowman one, a mantelpiece decoration. Cost me £2, which could have been a little bit too much, but again, it's one of those things that if it doesn't sell, I could see myself keeping that and putting it on my mantelpiece. So that's going in the maybe pile. There's just too many nice things out there that are old that I love. I can't help myself. Right, this is definitely something that needs to go on soon because it's Christmassy, and something that I'm not going to keep for myself. So it's this. So it's 1990. So it's vintage enough to go on Etsy, and it's this gorgeous hand painted, I think is trying to tell me. I don't know if that's quite right or not. I'll have to translate the German that's on there. Anyway, it's a German ceramic Christmas bell with the ribbon, I think. I'll check inside, but it is gorgeous, and it costs £1.50, and I reckon there's a few quid profit in that, and that'll be another nice Christmas one. So that's a definite for the shop, that one. And then these I thought I'd show you. So this cost me £1. I like collecting old Kilner jars, and better than that for me is the French version of that, the Le Parfait pots. This particular shop that I go to, particular charity shop, always seems to have some in there, so I've got quite a nice collection of about 4 or 5, and so it hasn't got its rubber. So sometimes they have got their like rubber bung bit, but it's too like warped and rotten and stuff, so I've had to get rid of it and then just replace them, because you can buy new ones, just replace them with one that's the right size. I'm in the process of trying to dry my own herbs from the garden and stuff, and these little air sealed pots are really good for keeping stuff in. Right, this is for the shop as well. Let me get this open, bear with. Right, I need scissors. I thought this is a nice dressing table piece. It's a flat paperweight, lovely piece of vintage fabric inside it. It's well finished underneath. Let me remove it's got some age to it. Paid £1 for it. And again, I'm probably looking at a few quid profit. Not loads, it's not big and fancy, but it is very pretty. And it's got that real, it's like a sort of dusky rose kind of colour to it. So I picked that up for the shop. Right, something else I picked up for the shop as well. So what I've found so far is the bric-a-brac items that I'm picking up are selling better than the jewellery, which I was not expecting. But I'm kind of going down that road and just exploring sorts of things that people might like. And I found these two dishes, Healer Craft fine bone china. So again, not one of your big names, but very, very pretty little trinket dishes with looks like the violet coloured flowers. They look a little bit like a climber called Morning Glory, but I don't know, I'll have to look that up. But yeah, they're very pretty. One is slightly bigger than the other, so I'm going to sell them separately. They're possibly designed to sit inside each other like that. Perhaps I should sell them as a pair. Possibly. I'll have a think about that. Anyway, there's two of them. With the Etsy shop, it's really me just trying to figure out what people want to buy and what things people are interested in at the moment. So it's all a bit of an experiment. And then we're going to finish up with some glass pieces actually. So this is £1.50. I love this. This has got a feel of like Bagley glass or something about it. I don't know. I might try and find let's get the sticker off so you can see the pattern at the bottom. So it's got very early Art Deco vibes, I think, with these little handles on it. It can't be a butter dish because it's the wrong shape. Now, whether it had a lid or not, I suspect not because of this wave. I think it is just a dish. I'm going to sell it as just a dish. Makes me think of something as either coming into the deco period or coming out of it. I've got several of these lovely little dishes. How many have I got? 3? No, I've got 4 of these. And what I found is that individual dishes people seem to be interested in buying rather than big sets. Because I know you often see like these full dressing table sets, and what I'd been doing is just kind of ignoring like the little bits and pieces of glass that I was finding, and then decided to pop a few bits on and see what happens. And they've sold. Quite a few of them have sold. So this is another, it's a lovely little dish. It's in blue. I think that's the other thing as well, is trying to work out what colour of glass people like. Definitely the pink has done well. I've even sold some clear actually, which people tend to tell you to steer clear of, but I don't think I've got any of this type of blue in yet, so we're going to test that out, and we'll test this lovely little green one out as well. I think that's it. I think that's it. I think there are a couple of bits of jewellery, but they were for eBay, so I've probably already dealt with those and listed them. But yeah, this is my little vintage haul of bits, some of which is definitely for the shop. There's a couple of maybes in there that I might be keeping, and then I've got 4 definites that I am keeping. So let me know what you think of these vintage items in the comments. And I think, guys, I need to wrap this up now because I've been talking at you so much today and the lighting's terrible, and if you've stuck with me through this and with the bad lighting and all the chit chat, thank you so much. It's been good to hang out with you again, and I will see you again soon.